Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto failed his Genin test and was given intense training. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Had the Ultimate Nature Bloodline. And enjoy that guys over on Anime King 3. And also, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Put Through Hell over on Anime King 2. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, would you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last spot we left off, Naruto's group was making their way through the forest, as they had just dealt with the Kira ninjas. Making their way, they were attacked, as it was Kurasuke. The girl made it abundantly clear for them that they could not kill her, as her grandfather was the Tishikage, and the Leaf would not risk a war between them. So, the envoys out here would try to intervene if they tried to kill her, as she smiled gleefully at that. So they couldn't really do anything against her. As Naruto turned that back against her rather quickly though, he was a 9-tailed Jinchuriki, so he was more valuable than her. But the girl captured them into quick line, as she liked someone that was tough and taught back as well, as she kissed Naruto, making Sakura fume in anger, as they were able to break free of the quick line, as the girl had stole their scrolls and ran off. Sakura was really angry at the woman and she wanted to pound her face in. They continued as they made their way, as they came upon Gaara and his group, as they were attacking Shikamaru and the others, as many people died in the onslaught. This was not a game, as blood was out for blood. As Naruto intervened though, Gaara saw him as Gaara wanted to fight. They had picked up Karen along the way, as Karen gave Naruto a kiss on the cheek, wishing him good luck. Sakura made a bold move as she kissed Naruto right on the lip, surprising him, as she told him to be safe. With that, Naruto and Gaara started to duke it out, as everyone had to stay back. Kurama then started to talk to Shikaku. Shikaku was slowly losing his mind. The more they seal him and the more they transfer him, the more the piece of him that he should remember was going. And he didn't want this anymore. He didn't want to be the one for misery, as he was like a little kid, as Kurama was very mournful of his little brother. So, Kurama allowed Naruto, as he poured his power into Naruto, who took on the 9-tailed fox form, as he killed Gaara and absorbed Shikaku's chakra into himself, where his brother would stay with him, as it could be sensed all over the forest. But to the other side, Orochimaru was currently facing off against Jiraiya, the real Orochimaru. Kiba was not really there, as Yamato was transformed as Kiba. Yamato saw a snake coming towards Hinata to bite her as it was Sai. Danzo gave a mission to kill Hinata as Yamato blocked it, but the girl turned as the arrow shot right through her, as it hit her at a rather vital, dangerous spot as she had to be pulled away by Yamato. Hyuga's gonna have to make a choice. His job was to protect her, but she was going to come out of this scorn-free, as the girl was in immense pain. As the Sand siblings took the body of their brother and brought him away, as Naruto didn't want to fight anymore, as he looked towards them. But they still had to continue on with the exam, because things wasn't over yet, as they had to make their way towards the tower. So yeah guys, it was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check for yourself. So this is begin this new episode. Jiraiya limped back towards the tower, holding the charred black limb that once was his left arm. He had won. His teammate was quicker and faster. He had barely escaped with his life, but he won. Orochimaru retreated first. That was what the Toad Sage was thinking. He was brought into the infirmary, made it be, by the Genin assisting him. He wondered how his ex-teammate was able to retain the same speed and youth. But then again, he had many thoughts going around his head at the moment, Dedo Tensei being one of them. The Kyuubi persons had disappeared, and since there was no Ichibai that meant his godson had handled a job, or that meant that Orochimaru plans had came to fruition. In any case, there's nothing he could do now but rest and flush out the poison that the Kusanagi had managed to inflict on him. One thing though was unmistakable. Orochimaru was working for the Akatsuki. As the Toad saw him mull over the thought, Naruto Uzumaki was looking at the dinner that his teammates had procured. Mushrooms that Sai had got that were filled with little green polka dots, and strange fishes with a lot of teeth. Cooking the thing wasn't much precaution. The burned fish that he had on a piece of stick smelled really good. As he gazed towards his left where Sakura was, cleaning her kunai, as to his right Karen was bobbing her head on his shoulder every now and then, as she looked like she wanted to sleep, as she yawned. He didn't know why, but he felt like he was between a rock and a hard place. Is it ready? Karen asked, as her cheek pressed against his shoulder. What are you, 5? Sakura snapped back. Stand up tight for a comic sake. Insufferable flirt. Sai remained quiet as he watched Tokunoichi glare at one another. He could swear that he saw a small line of electricity running from their eyes and meeting the center. Or perhaps it was just his mind playing tricks on him because he was tired. Resting behind a large tree, having covered the sides with plants and leaf. Today was their third day. We keep looking for more scrolls, Sai asked, hoping to remove the tension. I don't know, Sakura said. We have one. We can let Naruto pass and why me, said Naruto. Who our side should claim the scroll. I'm not so sure I could keep going on to the exam, especially alone. Well, Sakura said, we will have to find the other scrolls, unless we have a tracker and... She paused as she turned towards Karen. Everyone did. Can find chakra, not objects, said Karen. Look for 3-member teams going towards the tower. Shikamaru and Choji would not participate any longer, I think, said Naruto. So, it must be the Hidden Stone one. Alright, Sakura says, she clenched her fists. There's a whore in that team I need to settle a score with. Cherry, didn't they ever tell you never to kiss and tell? Sai asked, as silence descended over the entire field. What are you talking about, Sai? She paused as her eyes widened, before they turned murderous as she grabbed Sai and started to shake him. You perverted man! Naruto chuckled. He chuckled as he turned his gaze sidewards. You can come out now, he said. We know that you're there. The next moment, Sakura's action became clear as Sai vanished into an clone, as her distraction had served its purpose, as Shino found himself stepping out, with both hands up in the air at Tonto, from the back ready to strike him, as Sakura had already pulled out 3 needles, and was taking perfect aim for the Aburame. Interesting. I thought I had covered my tracks perfectly. How did you find me? You smell of honey, said Naruto. Shino raised eyebrow, as it dawned in his face. Ah, pheromones, the guide. The Kikaijo. I didn't expect your nose to be able to sense them. Is that another thing of having a Kyuubi seal instead of you? Sai Tonto moved a bit closer as Sakura readied herself to fire her needles. What do you want? We're not giving you our scroll, said Sakura. I do not want that. I have come to the terms that this exam will be my loss. Hinata has been grievously wounded, and we're moving towards the gate as we speak. We? Said Naruto. He's a bug clone, said Karen as she focused her eyes on him. It takes skills to hold one for so long. I thank you. However, I have marked Team 9 with females of this swarm. The moment this clone disperses, the insects will fly towards your location. Should you wish for their stash of scrolls, then this should be considered as an olive branch from the Aburame to the Uzumaki-san. What are you talking about? Sakura said. Why should we trust you? Why? Because I have no reason to go against someone who can clearly outclass me. Furthermore, cooperation may result into future benefits between my clan and him. He is a Jinjuriki of Konoha. Aligning with him is the most logical and sane course of event, short from being the friend to the Hokage. And why didn't anyone try this before? I mean this ally thing. Uzumaki-san. Who said that they haven't tried? But all clans were stonewalled in the face of equity. The Hokage alone can hold sway over the Jinjuriki. And by that, it means that the Sarutobi clan could not come in contact with you either. The logical thing. You are, after all, the most dangerous individual of the village. Whether you understand it or not, this clone has no service common purpose and will disengage back into a mindless swarm. Choose quickly. To his words, he dissolved into bugs. Bugs that start to fly off towards a direction. Do we follow him? Sai asked, as both Naruto and Sakura nodded. Breakfast wasn't forgotten. They just ate it along the way. The rabbit tastes like jelly, said Naruto as he hopped. Had worse, but it's disgusting. Want to swap with the mushrooms? Sakura asks. Tastes like carbon, except the dot area. Those are spicy, like pepper. Should we really be doing this? Karen asks worriedly. I mean, with everything happening the day before, shouldn't Naruto can rest? Don't act too curly with my teammate, Sakura said. And it is Naruto's decision. No, it's ours, said Naruto. If someone doesn't want to, then no one will. We'll give the last scroll to you, Karen, and that will be that. How noble of you. You just know what to say to a woman, capture their heart. Naruto-kun, she said. Sakura turned her head. Shameless flirting bitch. She didn't know what was going on with her. She had never been like that with Sasuke, right? Of course she hadn't, that was in the past. Old Sakura had done that. She hadn't. She wasn't going to. Sakura, watch out. As Sakura felt the steel wire connect to her body, before her body was blown back by an explosion. She had been so stupid, lost in daydreams. She didn't even think that traps could be placed by their targets. As the wire hit her right across the throat, she felt blood coming down. Was her throat sliced? She was falling from a very, very, very tall height. Wasn't this fall lethal? She couldn't find the strength to balance herself. Her ears were ringing and her sides were hurting. Why hadn't the explosion pulverized her though? Something had tackled her from her midsection. She glanced behind her. She saw something covered in shrapnel and steel pieces. Hair was black, the skin was pale. Sai had covered for her. She lost consciousness next moment as their fall stopped abruptly. Naruto must have saved them as she was gone. Meanwhile, Sasuke Uchiha was slowly walking towards the medic bay. The Chunin Kabuto had quietly come over the night before to talk about Itachi. He had apparently known his older brother for a bit, and he could tell him more if he wished to know about his older brother days in Anvu. Sasuke reached towards the door. His right hand was still covered in a cast, but that was gonna come off any day now, and he was finally gonna start training once again. Inside, there was Kabuto sleeping at the decks. There was 3 beds in the room. No one was in them. The moment Sasuke took a step inside, the man woke up. I'll be right. Oh, Sasuke, the man says he saw Sasuke. He rubbed back of his head in a bashed manner. I'm actually embarrassed that you saw me. Defensive like that, he said. My sensei would kill me if he found out. Anyway, what can I do for you? Are you scheduled to have the cast removed? Itachi, Sasuke said. What else do you know about him? That's a broad question. One best answered while sitting. Sit on the bed. I'll take the chair and move closer. Sasuke did that, annoyed, slightly delayed. But then again, if he was to do that, it must be a lot of information, right? As Kabuto sat down and crossed his arms. Well, what interests you the most? His strength, Sasuke said. How did he become so strong? He killed the entire clan in a single night, and no one realized it. How could he do that alone? The Uchiha, they were the strongest. No, they are the strongest. That's an interesting question. His Anvu training certainly helped him a great deal. But what truly made him strong? That, as he started to muse over it for a while, I think it was desire to prove himself. He always trained harder than anyone else. He always fought harder than anyone else. That is no different than what I'm doing, Sasuke said. And yet, I am not as strong as him. By my age, he was already Anvu, he was already stronger. Well, maybe he met someone outside the village. If he trained here and you do the same thing, then perhaps he received training elsewhere outside. But with who? It's simple, really. If he did train outside, it had to be with one of the Sanins, or S-rank shinobi at least. Maybe he met with Tsunade Senju. That would have made him a good healer rather than a killer. Jury of the Sanin is probably a good answer. So it was because he had a good teacher? No, excellent one, said Sasuke. Highly possible, then again, he always fought like every battle was to the death. So that could have made him strong as well. Our sensei told us to come at him with the intent to kill. Maybe I should try, said Sasuke. Well, that's your decision, Sasuke. You know, he used to talk about you a great deal. He called you a troublesome little brother. Nervous, thick mark appeared on Sasuke's forehead. Did he say anything else? He said he used to give you a flick on the forehead and tell you another time to only keep you quiet for the day. But he loved you dearly all the same. Sasuke clenched his fist tight. Yet he slaughtered the entire clan and let me live because I was weak. Why? Why did he kill mother and father? You know, Sasuke, if you want to let the weak live, he would have also left the other children alive. He called you too weak to be worth it, but you were certainly stronger than an infant, weren't you? He mercilessly slaughtered everyone but you. Silence descended in the infirmary. It sounds to me like he either cared about you, or someone ordered him to spare you. But who would order him that? Sasuke whispered. He was an Anvu, and the Anvus answered directly to... Sasuke paused as he clenched his fist. But the Uchihas were... Well, Kabuto said, I can't say I see any proof around though. But then again, if Itachi did not love you, Why are you alive? And why aren't the children alive if you did not kill the weak? And what of the elderly? I don't know, Sasuke said. I'm gonna ask him. How can I? You'll have to become stronger. If you wish. I know the thing. It's experimental and a high chance of death. But if you survive, you will become unholy stronger. Stronger than any of your other peers. Maybe even on par with Itachi. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Why are you helping me, Kabuto-san? Because I also lost my family to betrayal. But I never had a chance to revenge. But you on the other hand, you have, said Kabuto. I need time to think, Sasuke says. He walked towards the door. Take all the time you need. Sasuke did not see the wicked smile appear in Kabuto's face. Meanwhile, Kurama looked at the 3 dead bodies of the stone shinobis who had taken the exam with her. Someone had not only killed them, but devoured their inwards and used them as camouflage technique. She gritted her teeth in anger as she kicked a nearby rock against a tree. 3 shinobi dead. 3 shinobis from the hidden stone. This reeks of Konoha politics. She looked at Hibachi and Akisaki. You two, set up a perimeter. We're not gonna let any Konoha team pass through. Understood? We're gonna teach them. The ground shook as a shinobi in green spandex rocket past them at unseen speed. There was a moment of silence. Not even Kurama spoke. Akisaki spoke though. Fast. What the hell was that? Kurama-sama, said Hibachi. I think whatever that was, it had its teammates on his shoulders. After them then, she said. They're mine. As she turned, BAM! A fist smashed into her stomach as the air was knocked out of her lungs. They are my team. The cold gaze of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki set on her. But you will do as an appetizer. As his arm shoved right into her lungs. He screamed in pain as he held her close, his left hand on her shoulder as he spoke in her ear. You know, young chakra heal wounds quickly. I can actually cauterize and heal your wound time and time again before breaking it apart time and time again. Her eyes was wide. This had to be the Kyuubi taking control. It couldn't be the Konoha Genin that was speaking with such malice. And the pain was excruciating. Akisaki came in a fist, but a crimson tail slapped him away. Blood oozed out of her mouth. Hibachi wasn't even trying. In the back of her mind, she realized that he would probably be happy if she died. His family was next in line of succeeding Tishikage after all. You know, I'm gonna take your scrolls. It's far easier than pursuing the other 3. I will find them in the finals again after all. And there, I will personally butcher all 3 of them. His eyes looked towards her with amusement and then again. You should choose your allies better next time. As he looked towards Hibachi, he removed his fist from her body as she saw darkness encroach on her vision. Her arm went down towards her stomach that wasn't even showing a wound, but the pain was there and she had felt it all the same. Your chakra is bitter and filled with a malice that you can't even discern. Spoiled brat. Really spoiled. He grabbed her chin and lifted her up. As he kissed her, as he dropped her to the ground, she looked up. I felt the need to return the favor from last time. As the Kyuubi walked straight towards Hibachi. Give me the scrolls before I decide. Killing you won't be a waste of my time. The bug used her trembling fright as he handed over his entire bag. She couldn't even stand because of the phantom pain. As she was lying there, she felt something hit her chest. It was a scroll. As she looked towards the Kyuubi, I will taste your blood in the finals. Do not think you can escape me. The time I have spent stewing up your fear will be a nectar that I will enjoy. Do not think you can waste my time. Don't try and escape. As he jumped off, the moment he landed where Karen was, the cloak around him vanished. As his legs wobbled, as Naruto leaned up on a tree as he focused. How are they? They're stable, said Karen. Did you catch on to the other team? The Kyuubi refused. I don't know what he did. I lost consciousness. All I saw was a red haze, but I have 2 scrolls now. Maybe he killed 2 of their teammates. Why don't you ask him, she said, as she had removed all the shrapnel from Sai's back. I don't think he's gonna answer me anyway. He doesn't do things because he won't help me. He does things because they help him in the long run. As Naruto blinked, he says that should be obvious. Your girlfriend got lucky by the way, said Karen as she looked towards Sakura. 1 centimeter more, and the steel wire would have cut through a few important blood vessels. She was lucky. Sai kept an eye out for her, said Naruto. I should have too. As he rested himself against a tree bark. We have 3 scrolls. Don't you want one? No, Karen shook her head. I don't want to. Maybe I'll stay at Genin for a few more years. Plus, they say it's easier to be traded as a Genin than a Chunin from village to village. I still can't believe there's another Uzumaki around. Konoha no less. You said the same thing last time, said Naruto. What about your parents? Raiders, kill them. And the Uzumakis have separated since the fall of Uzu. Didn't you read about it, she asks. I have, but there is not much in the library to go off of. They simply stopped mentioning the village in the last war. Of course they do, said Karen. They left Uzu to die after all. Kiri attacked from the sea, while Kumo came from the north. Uzu was in the middle, and they were struck down. Then Konoha came by later, claiming to be our savior, while in truth they just claim more territory for their own. And what did we get back? They saw a damn whirlpool on their flap jackets. Wow, wonderful way of repaying our country seal masters. Our country destruction. What a wonderful piece. That's the worth of Uzu, knowing Konoha memory. A piece of cloth. And many don't even know it. Weren't the Senjus and Uzumaki allies? I recall a Mito Uzumaki, Mito Uzumaki, she said, cutting them off, was the head of the Uzumaki clan back in the days where Uzu was powerful. She married into the Senju bloodline to keep the two countries allied and powerful. The death of the first and the rise of the second did not change things. But by the time the third war came along, Konoha was in death. Seals are powerful. Jinjurikis are the prime example. Think about it. A seal to hold the Kyuubi, and it's just ink and chakra. So that caused jealousy, said Karen. Uzu was protected by a seal and a ray. So complex that no one, except for allies or those who have no ill will against the village or anyone inside, could enter. But someone showed the way in to carry shinobis, and that night the village burned. Shinobis, man, woman, child, they didn't matter, they were all slaughtered. By the end of it, Kumo attacked the fleeing outside the village. My mother told me for the villagers to know the escape routes were. Someone had to tell them that Uzu trusted. And all this she said, tears streaming down her face. As she clenched her fists, it happened after Mito Uzumaki died. As Naruto clenched his fists, he didn't feel as strong as she was. After all, he was never grown there. But he thought, what could have been? The thing that was bothering him though was that Karen was crying out to the frustration of what happened to her home. That made him quite angry. He moved closer to her as he hugged her gently, as her hands gripped onto his clothes. As she held onto him, her face came closer and closer to his. As he looked down at her, she looked up at him. As their face came closer and closer, he watches her lips pucker up. Her lips had this red blush of lipstick, and they looked so inviting that he was about to ridiculous. As the both of them turned, as Karen looked at Sai embarrassedly, who was on the ground looking up. Should I change your nickname to Harem Lord? Sai, said Naruto as he moved to the boy. Are you alright? I will be operating tomorrow. Kinky Cherry, said Sai. She's still unconscious, said Naruto. And what's it about being a Harem Lord, he asked. Ridiculous, I have eyes. Obviously, said Naruto. But I don't understand what Naruto froze. He had been kissed, hasn't he? The first doesn't count, and the second was on the cheek, really. The third one was, as he stuttered. Sai looked at him with a raised eyebrow. Are you without a brain or what, he asked. Excuse me, but I was worried, said Naruto, about not dying. And those bastards that hurt you, I had to go after them, said Naruto. Should I be touched, Sai said. That doesn't mean a double meaning. So keep your hands to yourself, or we'll chop them off. Keep your harem only to females, Dickless. Naruto started to laugh out loud. Never change, Sai, he said. My clothes will start to stink after 2 days, I said. No, you know what? Never mind. Karen, can we move Sakura? No, not until the night is over, she said, as she went over to look at Sai. As the both of them kept on talking about a lot of things that made her blush every now and then, but she felt this warmth in her heart. So much so that it actually stung. After all, her master, Orochimaru-sama, gave her an order, and she could not refuse. Time skip. On the 4th day, Sakura was still unconscious. Sai was up as he was moving around the camp. One more day to go, he remarked. We should start moving towards the tower. Do you think they planned it like this? Naruto asked. I mean, with all teams with scrolls moving toward the tower at the same time, if someone is without, they will just have to wait and ambush. Who remains? Sai said. The 2 teams from the Hidden Stone and the Sound team. And I think one member of Team 9, said Naruto. Unless I stole the scrolls from someone else, and the Taki team as well. So, said Sai. The Hidden Stone, one member of Team 9, us 3, and the 3 from Taki. Well, it could be worse. As Naruto sighed. Why did you have to say that? What? Said Sai. It could be worse. Whenever people says that, it usually brings bad luck on them, said Naruto. Sai simply shrugged. Meanwhile, a girl, her name was Raizetsu. She was not an ordinary genin. She was not a genin to be exact. She had white hair as she was from Taki. She was an Envu level Kunoichi, but she was light and small, and she also had a young face. so that she could pass off with her two Genin teammates. But the moment her two Genin teammates were shot down by arrows, she relinquished as she moved off with her envoy speed as she arrived towards the ninja that shot her teammates down. This sound, ninja cursed as he lost 5 of his arrows. Meanwhile, Lee put all the 3 scrolls into the holes as the door opened as he rushed inside. Lee, let me down right now. We are out of danger. He hasn't followed us since. Say Tintin. Lee-kun. As Lee dropped both Tintin and Ninja in their butt. Guy Sensei, as both green blurs move forward and deliver a bone-crushing hug to each other. Lee, Guy Sensei, Lee, Guy Sensei. For the love of God, someone dispel that genjutsu. One of the Jonin said around. 3 more scrolls were then inserted as the doors opened as Team 13 walked in. Yujiro watched as her team came in, followed by a 4th one that came in. As she failed, as she went over to the corner. It's him! Rock Lee screamed as he saw Naruto as he ran. Save yourself! As everyone turned their head, Neji stepped away in fear. As Tintin backed away as well. Sakura coughed slightly as she held out her neck wound. Sai also looked pale as he was leaning and Naruto was supporting him through. Infirmary, all 3 of you, said Yujiro. And a report later. Although Naruto was completely unscathed. Yes, Sensei, Naruto said while nodded as he helped Sai out of the room. The door then opened once more as a mixed team came in. 1 member from Taki came in holding a scroll, followed by 1 member of the stone group, and 2 from the stone group. Farewell, said Kakashi with a cough. Getting your attention. All participants to the infirmary. The winners may come back here afterwards to receive further news. Inform your Jonin Sensei of the last known location of your teammate's body if they die, or where they're hiding if they're still alive. That will be all for the moment. Well done in surviving the second part of the exam, all of you. With those words, the second exam was done. Time skip. Orochimaru-sama, a voice echoed in darkness. We have succeeded. Well done, all of you, Orochimaru said. Very well done, Kidamaru Teiwaya. What of the distractions? The Kira shinobis were annihilated, all but 1. The Kyuubi Jinchuri's strength was ascertained, and the Ichibai container was killed. Very well. The loss of the Ichibai changed nothing, if not that. It just forced his hand with the Kazekage. I will warn the rest of the organization. Operation Breadcrumbs begins now, and with that Orochimaru image vanished away. Meanwhile, the real Orochimaru had his hand over a map. His 5 fingers spread around Konoha. Fools. Utter fools. I will show them what it means to lose all that is precious to them. Your precious village will crumble to dust, Sensei. I have warned you once before. As Orochimaru exited the tent that he was in, as he looked towards a mass of the Hidden Stone village. War in a month. In 1 month time. Let there be war, he said, as he laughed psychotically. As he saw the bigger picture, his brain, he knew everything. Everything how it was going to play out. As he licked his lips in satisfaction. Just you wait, Sensei. I will send everything down in ashes. Time skip. As Hiruzen took the stage, away from Kakashi, who was the 3rd proctor of the exams. Welcome, he said. As he looked towards the 10 ninjas that survived, the exam stood shoulder to shoulder. As Naruto was over to the utter right, with his teammates. As the boy's eyes were burning with determination. He saw the one that Danzo placed on Team Sai, as he was being helped up by a crutch. It seems like he need more time to recuperate. Then there was Sakura Haruno, the civilian Kunoichi. She had a fire in her eyes, even if she looked mildly uncomfortable, and had problems swallowing, from the grimace she took every time she did. It was probably because of that neck wound that she had. The Taki Kunoichi Raizetsu was next. Raizetsu did not see who killed her teammates, but she had deflected those arrows rather quickly. Kidamaru was over to the side, and she did not know it was him. Kurama was over to the side, her eyes fearfully glancing towards Naruto every now and then. He couldn't wonder what the boy had done to make her so scared, but then again he will ask the reports later on from Yujiro. The exams that you have partaken are a substitute for war. Each of you who had passed were forced to make choices in order to survive. You have upheld true to your beliefs and to your comrades, have forged alliances or backstab each other at night. You have fought, bled. Across 5 days, how did it feel? Was it something nice? Did it make you feel happy? I hope. The answer was no, he said. These exams are a substitute for war, he said. But they are not an excuse to kill or murder without cause. In the face of death, allies are the strongest bonds that you could have. The loss of your teammates, the anger, the hatred that you feel right now, must not join the fact that you ally with other shinobis from other villages. Remember that a culprit is not the entire population of that village. The man removed his hat as he bowed his head slightly. I am sorry. If any of you lost your precious friends in this exam, he said. He stood back up a moment later. But do not let that pain cloud your judgment. Understand that pain Make it yours. And think if you like delivered onto others. Would you? Because that is a vicious cycle that can never be broken. Unless someone accepts it and understands it. And refuse to rebuke that power, that flame of war. In a month, there will be the final and public part of this exam. The members around the elemental nation will converge to Konoha to watch you in honor of fighting to become a Chunin. I cannot speak for your own Tagi, but know this. They will certainly be as proud of you on that day, whether you win or lose, as I will be for my own ninjas. He nodded towards Kakashi who stepped forward the box. One at a time and take out a number, he said. As Naruto was the closest, so Naruto stepped up first. As Naruto got number 4, Sakura got number 1 and Sai got 7. Kurosaki got 5, Raizetsu was 9. Neji Hyuga pulled out number 2. Rock Lee pulled out number 8. Teiwaya became number 10, and Kidomaru got number 6. Tenten got number 3. Sakura Haruna will fight Hyuga Neji, said Kakashi. Tenten will fight Naruto Uzumaki. Kurosaki will fight Kidomaru. Sai will face off against Rock Lee. Raizetsu of Taki will face off against Teiwaya of the Sound. As everyone looked at their opponent, as Yujiro was worrying about Sakura. Even training her intensely for a month would not put her on par with the Hyuga. Secretly, teaching her techniques would not work either. Putting her under apprenticeship of a kunoichi would do nothing in that short frame of time. But it seemed like she realized that too, as her eyes went towards her teammates with a defeated gaze. If she gave up before starting, no one would fault her for that. The Great Konoha Arena will be open in 1 month. Do not be late. And with that, the third left as the Jonins went to their teams, as Yujiro went in front of hers. You all did well, she said. Did the medics check you all for toxins, poisons? Anyone need another round of vaccinations? She hoped her voice was not too fussy. You never knew with children. She never had to do this for Onbu squad because they always do what they had to do. But what if they didn't take their shots or those things? She was a bit worried. I'm fine, Sensei, said Naruto. I'm fine too, said Sakura. Hurts a lot to speak though, my throat kind of itches. The medic, change the bandage and apply anti-corrosion. You can never know if the enemy use poison in their weapons. Sai, what about you? And do not lie about your pain if you are in. No, Sensei. But I don't trust Dickless to hold me too close. Perhaps he will lose himself to my perfection and try to touch me, said Sai. Sensei, can I drop him, said Naruto, as Sai was holding on to Naruto's shoulder. No, you may not. I'll have you do a full checkup at the hospital. Come on, let's get out of here, she said. As Naruto glanced towards Sakura, who looked at him. Naruto, what happened in the farce? I'll tell you later. When both you and Sai are fine, he said. Dickless, said Sai as he looked over. I am fine. Right. Sensei, how are we gonna leave the forest, said Naruto. It took them a few days to reach the tower. So wouldn't they have to do the same? There's an underground river, the above water's channel, through a tunnel. We sit on a boat and the water does the rest. Through the entire trip, Naruto went quiet. Sakura wanted to ask him something else as he could feel her gaze, but she did not say anything else. As Yujiro brought Sakura and Sai towards the hospital, seeing that Naruto was fine as he was rather hungry. But still he was worried about his teammates, even though he was sure that they were going to be okay. But still, Sakura's parents were going to be worried when they found out that she was in the hospital. But what about Sai? He had no one. As Naruto made his way, he went home as Danzo Sensei was not there. So he left a note behind. As he went towards Hebai, he hoped they did take away. As he entered the corner shop as it was filled to the brim. As he waited as the line moved forward slowly. If this kept up, you'll be here the entire night. If it isn't Sakura teammates, as the owner came over. Well, my boy, how did it go? Oh, Kuro-san, said Naruto. He stammered out surprise. Well, it went well, we all passed. But Sakura and Sai are both in the hospital, so you came here to get something to bring over there, the owner said. Well done, my boy. We'll make a gentleman out of you yet. There were a few grumbles as the man took Naruto and brought him inside. So, who else passed? The owner says he started to select some pastries from one of the glass cases. And don't worry, this is done the house. Passing Chunin exams alive is something that deserves a celebration in a way. Thank you, said Naruto, as he felt a lot of gazes on his back as he stood there. Seeing that man basically made him skip the line all the way up to the front. Well, 2 teams from Konoha passed. A kunoichi from Take, and from the stone, and 2 Sound ninjas. Sound? Oh, must be that new village that was filled in Land of Rice recently. So what would you like to eat? I got those soccer favorites, and your other teammate taste is very simple. Ramen, if possible, said Naruto. Everything is possible, said Kuro. As long as you keep on trying. 5 minutes later, Naruto had 4 different plastic bags as he made his way to the hospital entrance. Naruto, as he stopped, looking up. We're here. As he saw his sensei, as he ran straight up the wall and climbed through the window as he placed on the bags. Sai was strapped to the bed with his back upwards. Dickless, if you're having any strange ideas, Kill them, Sai said. Sakura simply smiled. She made a small wave in his direction, as she had a pad in front of her that she wrote on. Can't stress my voice. Doctor's order. Hit Sai for me. No violence, alone in the room, said Yujiro. Naruto, what did you bring? As Naruto's eyes widened, he never... Wait. Kuro gave him 4 bags instead of 3. Did the man know about the future or something? As he took the ramen for himself, as Sai got a strange vegetable soup, as Sakura was given the pastries, as left for Yujiro was cheese, ham and fish. Weird. Sakura, can't eat anything solid yet, said Yujiro. Doctor orders. Sure, can have my soup, said Sai. Anything is better than hospital food. Yeah, said Naruto. Do you think they make it taste bad on purpose so sick people can leave faster? Hospital kitchen use a low amount of spices and salts, seeing that they have a wide variety of different patients with different illness. It's bland, I admit, but it's better than most things, said Yujiro. Sakura coughed a bit as she reached and picked up the water beside her and drank some. As she placed down vegetable soup, as she wrote, Sai, how could you eat something like that? It's caved in my tongue. The warmth make you feel fresher afterwards, said Sai. After all, he couldn't claim that it was his stupid child mind, thinking that drinking a hot soup could remove the seal away from his tongue. But after drinking it so much, he had gotten to like the taste. As Naruto sniffed the soup, what the hell? What's in there? Precisely, said Sai. Yeah, I got that from staining my eye. But what's in there precisely, said Naruto. Pepper. And? More pepper. So it's a pepper soup, said Naruto. Mustard is in there as well. Ginger. Cinnamon. Paprika. Let me guess, the green pips their pepper as well. Chili pepper. There's also garlic. And this is what you use in the order. How did you manage to convince the cook? Naruto asked. I handed over the recipe the day before. They placed it in the menu afterwards. Is that the dead soup? You know, Sai, I didn't think that you were suicidal. You should taste it before complaining. No thanks, I like my tongue where it is. There was silence in the room for a couple of minutes. The fact that they passed the exam started to sink in. We passed, Naruto whispered. We did it. As Sakura wrote something on her board. Yes, and I got Neji. I guess I'll have to wait next time to get promoted, with him as my enemy. That's not true, Sakura. You just need a good strategy. We have a month. We will come up with something. So does the enemy, said Yujiro. That is why it would be pointless to get your hopes up. The Hyuga branch family has many access to the gentle fist technique. Sure, you won't be pelted by kunais or shurikens, or not be targeted by explosive tags, but it doesn't mean that you'll be able to win. Sensei, said Naruto. Naruto, listen, she said. Hyuga Neji is considered a prodigy in his own clan. Also, amongst his peers, Sakura has no chance against him in arena ground, and in a one-on-one against him to win. This was a battlefield with no laws, no arrangements. Then she might have, and I would have trained her myself to win. As things are, she does not stand a chance. We reached the exams together. We aren't going to stop, and Yujiro cut him off. She just had to put up a good fight. Sure, winning against him would guarantee her getting a promotion to tuning, but she just also have to show off her skills, even if she lose. The one I'm actually worrying about is Sai's match. As she looked over towards Sai, Rock Lee has been promoted without the usage of chakra. He has been following Might Guy regime, and the man is a monster, she said. So, if there's a tough opponent, then it will be him. But that is nothing you can't beat with the correct tactic. He is a pure taijutsu user after all. What about me, said Naruto. No one's worried about me, as he mocked hurt. Yujiro rolled her eyes. I asked that you do not kill your opponent, Naruto, she said. I heard what happened from Sai already. I thought better of you to leave your teammates' health in a foreign kunoichi's hand. All because of revenge. I suppose now is a good time to say it. She looked from Sakura to Sai, as she then focused back on Naruto. Naruto, you disappoint me terribly in your exam. As Naruto's eyes widened, you blinded yourself with rage and left your teammates with that kunoichi. You forgot if she had wanted to, she could have easily killed the both of them and took the scroll and made her way off. Allied, ninja or not, what you did was stupid, irresponsible, completely out of character. Had you been an envoy, I would have you expelled and stripped back down to Genin. But since you are a Genin, I suppose, you will have to suffer through my tongue lashing. What the hell were you thinking? You're supposed to be the one to provide first aid to your wounded teammates always. With allied shinobi teams nearby, you must be the first aid provider. He took a step back as she kept on speaking. Not only that, but you left them alone, wounded and unconscious, in the hands of a perfect stranger. What if she was a kunoichi from the Hidden Stone, who had simply stolen a foreign protector? What if she was under a disguise to appear as someone else? You had no means of knowing her true intentions, and yet you left your teammate's life in her hands. So tell me, Naruto Uzumaki, what the hell were you thinking? He flinched as he lowered his gaze as he clenched his fists. And there's a reason I'm telling you this, said Yujiro. After you were examined, I was told by the attendants that there was a lung action poison in your bloodstream. It had seeped into your open wounds. It was either coated by the weapons that attacked you, or the one that healed you did it, hoping that you'd be dead by the end of the week. And seeing that you weren't injured in that attack. So that means, as she looked towards Naruto, as Naruto felt his world come crashing down, he tried to image Karen as a cold-blooded monster. The girl that was so nice out there, but why? Who knows, said Yujiro. As Sakura wrote something on her board, she wrote something rather hard. I told you, the bitch wasn't supposed to be trusted. See? Told you so. In any event, I hope this serves as a good lesson, Naruto. Because if you're so well, please trust the poison a chance to work for 2 days. Sai will need rehab to lift his backpack across his shoulder. And Sakura voice, it might as well be gone. Sakura placed a hand towards her throat. No, she had spoken before. Her voice was not gone. As Naruto stood there, motionless. In any event, I hope you understand your lesson, Naruto, she said. But you all received training on your first encounter to suit you perfectly. As I found someone willing to help me out with it. Sai, you will need to play the Genjutsu card against Rock Lee. And I know just the Jonin for it. Sakura will receive some pointers from a friend of mine. And you, Naruto, she said. I have a shinobi who is literally begging me to train you. So you'll report to Training Ground 7 tomorrow. Because he was certain that you will come out of the exam completely unscathed. She blinked as she started to eat. She then looked back up. Why are you not eating? It will get cold, she said. Like nothing just happened. Sakura wrote as she turned the board towards Yujiro. I may never have my voice back, Sensei. You probably won't be able to scream ever again. The poison was viciously attacking your vocal cords by the time the medic gave you the routine antivenoms. If you were sent to the hospital a day later, you'd have lost your voice, if not your entire life. He shrugged. It's not uncommon for shinobis to return from mission and drop. Dead 5 minutes later, but there's no proof that it was actually Karen, said Naruto. It could have been the traps. Sure, said Yujiro. I'm not berating you for not attacking the grass Genin. The reason I'm berating you is that you trust her without any implications. The action could have been set by the other Konoha team, who did not know that it would be another Konoha team coming after them. But that is rather impossible. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, why would they set a long-lasting poison when they needed something that they need to work right there and then? Or perhaps it was done by someone you did not see. Someone might have found a bush of berries and poisoned them before leaving. Dickless, don't think too much. Your brain cannot handle more thoughts after all. The only thing you focus on is kissing. Sai, stop being a pervert, said Naruto. Pervert, he said. Yes. As Sakura right on the board, quickly. Sai nickname is Perfect from now on. You know, we spent a long time in wondering what we should nickname you, seeing that you call me Dickless and Sakura Cherry. So from now on, you're Pervert, said Naruto. Sai looked at them as they looked at him strangely, because his look was strange. Sai was shocked. He had a nickname. His face in return back to normal. Danzo would have surely scorned him for showing emotions on his face, but then again, was he a failure of the root program? So, he could make mistakes every now and then, could he? Pervert is still better than Dickless, and Sakura's Kinky Cherry. Yujiro's eyebrow twitched. Of all the teams, she had one that was filled with some perverts. If any of her sons and daughters, because she was planning on giving Hayate a full family, ever try to nickname each other like that, she will start them out with kunai practicing. Blunt weapons, of course, but they will be the target. And at the moment, Sai and Sakura were injured, and she already gave Naruto a tongue lashing, so just leave him be for now. As she looked through the window, it was a wonderful day. In a room further down the hallway, Hyuga was clenching his fist as he watched his daughter fight for her life in intensive care. The doctors were doing their best with what fame, money, or influence or power could buy, but yet, there was only so much that they could do. His gaze landed on the two teammates that refused to leave. One was a bearmaid, and the other one was the undercover Anvu, who he had to thank for saving his daughter's life. As he walked in front of the two, as he looked at him, he bowed. I thank you, in name of the Hyuga clan, for saving my daughter's life. As he stood back up after a moment, Shino was the first one to speak. Hinata is a prize member for our team. It's an honor. There's no need, Hyuga-sama. We did what anyone else would have done. In any case, you did the Hyuga clan a greater service, but it was even greater to him. As the arrow that struck her had torn to her side, it pierced her lung and damaged her spine. She will no longer be able to walk or fight. She will leave the shinobi force. As She'll remain home after that, where he will find her a suitable match. And with that, there will be no need to place a birdcage seal on her forehead. She wouldn't be going anywhere. After all, if he couldn't protect her, there was clearly something wrong with the Hyuga guards. But through everything, he was happy that she was alive. He was happy that she was not dead. As Haji thought of this, a small Morse code made its way. It made its way through the land of fire, going straight towards the land of lightning, bouncing off hidden relay towers in the depths of some large trees. It was deciphered and decoded through 3 stations before it finally reached Raikage decks. It was just some simple words. A bird, cage is free. A crumbled the paper as it burst into flame. Electricity torn it up into flames. Mabe, he said, as he pressed the button over the intercom to his assistant. Send a message to the Hokage. Komo will gladly send a representative and a bodyguard to watch the tournament this year. They will arrive at the end of the week. Raikage-sama, of course, it will be done. A crossed his arms. He will not be going. There was no Kumo shinobis that participate, and he had no time to having diplomatic talks with the Hokage. He glanced towards the papers on his decks. To think he could incinerate a mountain if he wished, yet he was forced down by the paperwork. Maybe he will take 1 page out of B's book and go on a vacation somewhere else. Raikage-sama, said Mabe. Who should I notify for the honor of going to Konoha? Show of force was gonna do good, but he wasn't going to move his brother from his position. The Jinjulkis were weapons of mass destruction and mass defense. Haxabi power could topple mountains and shield a village with barriers of lightning with ease. Yujito will be the ambassador. She's calm enough to not to claw the face of the third. As a bodyguard, I will need constant update on situation. Mabe. Raikage-sama, the last time I left, said Mabe, you disappeared for 3 months. It was just a spur of the moment, an act of rebellion in my youth. It won't happen again, he said. I understand, Raikage-sama. I will warn Yujito and prepare myself. A sigh in relief now. He just had to plan his way through the northern mountains. Meanwhile, Orochimaru whistled a jaunty tune as his gold eyes settled on a girl. She looked like she was just 10 years old, barely, settling herself like a konoichi. Who let children in to begin with? You. The girl froze. Your name? Orochimaru-sama. I don't have one, she said. So it was one of the desperate orphans, born out of wedlock or whore, and left in the middle of nowhere to fend for themselves. 9 times out of 10 they die before their first year. Those who survive were usually jaded, but this one didn't look like she was jaded at all. She was probably orphaned recently, but she said she didn't have a name. Perhaps she believed that fighting would somehow bring her parents back, or at least she would die in revenge. Then you're Hebai from now on. Follow me. I need an assistant. She quickly ran after him as he turned to leave. It felt like having another uncle. He could get used to it if she also gave him a smiling face whenever he presented her with something. Time skip. Kakashi was looking at the memorial stone, where the shinobis who risked their life name was. There was a simple gash where his father's name was supposed to be, because his father had chosen to save his teammate rather than completing the mission. His father's decision had jump-started a war. 100 had died, so he could save his team. His team that then got killed in the following mission after his father committed suicide. He had grown up trying to remove that stain from his family name since birth. He had grew up and fought in the war that his father had helped cause. He lost friends, church bonds, and a father figure as well. Then the chance of training his sensei's son was taken away from him. There was a limit. Everyone had one. So that is why he begged Yujiro. So what if he had let his mask down and dyed his own hair black just to get the privilege to train him? As Kakashi turned as he saw him, it was like a little Minato with whisker marks. Kakashi blinked. Hadn't he dyed his hair black? Did he dye it back in less than a day, as it was now blonde, navy blue, as he was wearing a similar clothes to his sensei? As he did not even notice that Naruto was eyeing him like a prey. I like the color, he stammered out back. If he makes a mistake, I'll have an opening to ask about my father, said Naruto, as he did all of this to see how Kakashi would react. And if he does not, you dye your hair back to normal, to appear once more inconspicuous with the population, the Kyuubi said. You know, the fox hesitated. Maybe I was mistaken about you earlier. If you ever need my help, don't hesitate to ask. Naruto's eyes widened just for a brief moment. As Kakashi spoke, I'm Kakashi Hatake, he said. Because of a reason I can't explain, I have a debt to repay with someone I can't tell you of. Thus I will train you in preparation of the exams. Understood? Yes, sensei, said Naruto with a short bow. I am Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm in your care. Polite was always misunderstood. Meanwhile, Yagura flinched. The sandbai refused to cooperate any longer, as he squirmed and twisted as coils came over his body. That by itself was something unprecedented, because ICB was never angry. He was always asleep or shyly muttering in the corner but never ever angry. As it was, the seal wasn't strong enough to hold him back. That sound like a twig was snapped. The seal broke. Yagura Mizukage towards there calmly, before it exploded. As the massive beast hauled to the sky, the tides rose. As the thing fell into itself and rolled through the buildings, destroying them, making its way towards the ocean. As it leaped and slammed into the water, a massive tsunami came and swept right over Kiri. That was how the reign of Yagura came to an end. But it was all planned, wasn't it? From a nearby building, Tobi stood there watching everything. Tobi is such a good boy, isn't he? Remind me again, why? Zetsu spoke. Silly Zetsu, said Tobi. Everything's more beautiful when it's broken. Broken, snap, pierce. All is wonderful in blood and death. Screams are so nice here at night. A lullaby of perfection. But Tobi's a bad boy. He forgot. What? Said Zetsu. I can't remember, said Tobi. But when I do, I will no longer forget about it. Zetsu just made his way back down to the rooftop, as a lone Sharingan could be seen out of the eye hole of Tobi's mask. As he looked towards the death and carnage and destruction, the man laughed. Laughed in their misery before he disappeared in a swirling vortex. Perfection was the last strive after all, because he will burn every other way to peace. There was only one way, and that was his way. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Put Through Hell over on Anime King 2, and enjoy that guys. And also over on Anime King 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Had the Ultimate Nature Bloodline, so go ahead and enjoy that as well. And remember, if you're new, yes, you heard that correctly, I have 3 channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day. So just go ahead and click that red subscribe button and turn on that bell notification to stay posted so you can see exactly when I post. And thank you all once again for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace guys.